Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yoga with Melanie Bolin. That's me, otherwise known as Geeky Fit. And today we're just going to kind of do an all-around practice. Now, just an FYI, I am getting over a cold, so if I sound a bit sniffly or coughy at any point, my apologies. But I said I was going to get this done in time for the weekend, so I wanted to make sure I got it done for you. As per usual, as you go through class with me, I want you to listen to your own body and only take things to the level at which you are comfort, taking rest poses as often as you need to. I will also be demonstrating use of props throughout class. So if you have props such as yoga blocks or straps, I do recommend having those on hand, especially the straps, because I'm going to use those a little bit in the class today to work on our shoulders. If you don't have a strap, then like a longer towel that you can hold on to that lets you get your arms a little wider than the shoulders will probably do the trick. All right, so let's go ahead and get down on the mat and get started. We're just going to rest in a comfortable child's pose to start today. Now, if child's pose is not comfortable to you due to your knees, your ankles, or your hips, you're also welcome to lie on your back in corpse pose and take that for the first pose as well. So for our child's pose today, I'm going to demonstrate use of the block underneath the head, and I'll turn to the side a little bit so you can see a little better. So if when you come into child's pose, your hips don't fully sit back on your heels and to bring your head to the ground, you find yourself tipping your hips up to the sky, this is where using the block can come in handy, and you can have it on either setting, lowest, middle, or high, depending on how high up your head needs to be. And this is going to bring the floor closer to your face and make it more comfortable for your neck and your back and allow you to lengthen into your lower back a little deeper in child's pose. That being said, let's get started. So to start out in child's pose, you can just have your arms gently next to your head. You don't have to have them out long right now. Just kind of let those shoulders melt down, let those elbows bend, sit those hips back, close your eyes, and just start taking some nice deep breaths in and out through those nostrils, letting that belly fully expand into the thighs and contract away with each breath. Now, if you're like me and you're maybe getting over a cold, breathing through your nose might be something that is a little challenging. So in cases like that, of course, you can breathe through your mouth. But if you can breathe through your nose, try to keep it through there. And just keep those breaths flowing. We're going to be here for not terribly long. My dog's coming to join the party, it seems. So say hello to my dogs. And just keep breathing. Couple more breaths, just letting that body melt away into the mat. Just letting everything settle down. Apologies if you can hear my dogs barking in the background. Everything doesn't go quite flawlessly here. And on your next exhale, reach those arms out nice and long now. So we want to really reach through the fingertips, press those palms into the mat. As you do that, it might be tempting to start to shrug your shoulders up to your ears, but think of then pulling them back and down a little bit, keeping that length in the neck. You might feel your lats start to engage a little bit, and take a couple of breaths, really pressing those hands down and reaching those fingertips long. And last one. And go ahead and walk your hands back. Bring yourself up, and you can bring your knees together and come onto your hands and your knees into a tabletop. Now, I might change the direction I'm facing just so you can see my angles, but keep facing the same direction front to back on your mat. So you're just going to come long ways on your mat, spread your fingers wide, get your wrists under your shoulders, get your knees under your hips, and we're going to start with a little bit of isolation here, starting with just movement in the shoulder blades. So you're just going to inhale, let those shoulder blades squeeze together, exhale, push those shoulder blades apart. And keep that going. Again, trying to keep that lower part of your spine still right now. Some people have more mobile shoulder blades, some people have less. So just take it to the range of motion you have. And when you squeeze those shoulder blades together, try not to also shrug up. So think of pulling kind of back and down with those shoulder blades. Just give me one more. And then we're going to kind of neutralize the shoulder blades, and we're going to try to do just the lower part of the body. So now, keeping those shoulder blades still, we're going to inhale, tilt the pelvis, let that tailbone lift. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, tuck the tailbone. And again, as you inhale, try to lift. As you exhale, tuck. And just keep that going again, flowing with the breath. So now we're isolating the lower body. And if you're struggling with this, that's okay. That's actually kind of normal because we don't often isolate parts of our body like this. So it's a weird feeling if you're not used to it. Just do your best. Just give me one more and come back to a neutral spine. Now what you've probably been waiting for, combining those together for full cat-cow. So as we inhale, we're going to do the first part of each. Shoulder blades are going to come together. Tail is going to lift to cow. And we're going to exhale, push away, round to cat. And now keep that going with every inhale and exhale at your own speed. Just starting to warm up that spine a little bit. And it's important as you do this that you keep those arms locked out. Try not to bend the elbows to get deeper. Just give me a couple more. And last one. And back to a neutral spine. Stay facing the same direction on your mat. I'm just turning the other way. From here, we're going to get our knees a little bit wider again, and we're going to sit back into our child's pose. Now, if you had the block the first time, take it away this time, because we're going to move a little bit in child's pose. So reach out, and if your forehead kind of floats, that's okay. Take a deep breath in here, and as we exhale, we're going to walk our hands to the right, reach to the right on the exhale. As you inhale, walk those hands through center. And as you exhale, walk those hands to the left. And we're going to keep that flow going now. So every time you inhale, we're coming to center. Every time you exhale, we're reaching to the side. So keep this going at your own speed, and I'll give you a few cues to think about as you go through this. So everyone's got a slightly different reach here. As you reach to the side, you can do as I'm doing, which is kind of keeping my hands separated. But if you've got a more flexible side of your body, you might want to reach and actually cross the opposite hand all the way over on top of that outside hand to get that length down the side and feel the stretch. All right, I don't generally go that far because my shoulders don't like it, so I stay with the hands separated. And then as you reach to the side, think of sitting that opposite hip away down into the floor, really letting that length come down the side of the body. And let's just finish off, and we'll meet back in the center in child's pose. And then we're going to come back up to all fours, get those knees back underneath the hips. And we're going to take a little puppy pose here. So this time, our knees are going to stay over our hips, unlike child's pose where we sit back. And then we're going to walk the hands forward. I'm going to move my stuff out of the way and bring that chest downward. Now, I do this with my forehead to the ground, but some people who are super flexible in their spine and neck might actually lengthen their neck onto the ground and bring their chin forward in this pose. And just like in child's pose, you can also bring your forehead down to a block if you need to. So we're basically trying to find the position in the back that you would in downward facing dog, but our knees are on the ground. Go ahead and walk those hands back up, wrists back under shoulders. Take a cat hold, so round and hold so you get that spine lengthened the other way. And release. And we're going to do that one more time. And if you feel good and your shoulders can get even longer, you can try then pressing the floor away and coming up onto your fingertips, lifting the palms off the ground, which is going to kind of raise the wrists up in the air a little bit more, get a little more length into the shoulders and the back. And once more, bring those wrists back up under the shoulders. Cat hold. Round it out. And release. Now from here, we're going to take it to our first downward facing dog of the day. So everyone's a little bit different in down dog. I'm going to move my hands forward just a little bit so they're no longer under my shoulders, but a little forward. Spread the fingers wide, curl the toes under, draw that belly in, and those hips are going to lift up and back into downward facing dog. And I actually want you to bend the knees a little bit right here and then drive the heels down. So the heels may not touch the ground, because we're keeping those knees bent. Think of pressing that chest down through the arms a little bit more, creating that same length in your spine that you just had in puppy pose. And then gently float those knees back down to child's pose. Sit back. Deep breath in. Exhale, take those hands to the right. Reach. Inhale through center. Exhale, take those hands to the left. And inhale back to center. Exhale, child's pose. Come back up to all fours. Align those knees back under the hips. Spread the fingers, toes under. Back to downward facing dog. Again, bend both knees, and now we're going to pedal the feet. So keep that left leg bent. Press the right heel downward on your exhale. Inhale, bend the right leg back. Exhale, press that left heel down. And inhale back. And now keep that going. So you're going to keep pressing one heel down on your exhale and inhaling to a bent knee. Side to side, you'll feel this start to loosen into the calves, lengthen into the ankles, and no doubt that upper body is starting to build a little fire here. Keep drawing that belly in. Just round out. Give me one more on each side to even yourself out. And we're going to look forward, gently walk your feet up to your hands until you're in a nice forward fold, feet under hips. You can let everything hang down. Head can let go, shoulders and arms can let go, and just hang it down. Take a couple of breaths here, soften your knees a little bit, don't let them lock out. And then we're going to slowly start to roll up like a rag doll. Draw your belly in, one vertebrae at a time, starts to come upward. Chin stays the chest and is the last thing to come up. Slowly stacking yourself back up to standing. And this is the part where we all adjust our yoga pants and our tank tops because they've kind of rolled and bunched up a little bit. Or if you're in my room, covered in dog hair. All right, so take a sip of water if you need to, and grab either that strap or that towel. So I have a pretty cumbersome strap here, and most straps are kind of long. So what you're going to want to do is take it and kind of fold it in half. Then you can lengthen it out and grab onto it. So when you fold a yoga strap in half, that kind of gives you that nice wider than shoulder position. So try to find a towel or something else that you can hold on to that has a little give, so you don't want a broomstick or anything right now. All right. All right. So we're going to work on our side bend from here. And we're going to start with our feet wider and get narrower as we go, because when we're wider, we have better balance. And when we're narrower, the balance becomes a little harder. So you want to pull your strap of your towel nice and tight, pull the shoulders back and down. And we're just going to start by inhaling the arms up and exhaling them back down. So through the nose, the arms come up. And as you come up, create that tension in the band and keep that tension through the way down. So you'll start to feel the backs of the shoulders work, maybe down into the lats work. And now if you have super hypermobile shoulders, you may be trying to pull them way back, but I want you to stop right around your ears, even if you can go back further, so that you're using those back muscles and not just kind of taking those shoulders all the way around. So that's where that tension comes into play. So you kind of find that stopping point at the top. Now this time we're going to bring it to the top and hold. And we're just going to practice sliding those hips from side to side. So go ahead and take those hips, slide them to the left, inhale to center, exhale, slide them to the right. and inhale to center, and keep that going. And again, this might feel kind of weird if you're not used to isolating your body. The goal is to try not to like overly bend into the knees to get there. So I'm not like making this like an attitude thing. I'm kind of keeping that leg straight and just shifting. All right. And then bring it to center. Now on the next one, we're going to go ahead and exhale, take those hips over to the left, and then we're going to reach those arms to the right. And inhale to center, slide those hips over to the right, exhale, reach to the left. And keep that going now in a smooth flow, inhaling and exhaling. So we're starting to open up down the sides of the body. And keep that going. So this is kind of our level 1, and we're just working on getting a little length, getting a little control. And if as we bring the legs narrower, you just don't feel like you have balance or control, you can come back wide. Just give me one more. And release. And now we have those feet a little wider. We're going to swan dive it forward. Bring it all the way down and let yourself hang. Forward fold again. Unlock those knees, draw that belly in, let everything hang down. Couple more deep breaths. And now to come out of this, soften your knees a little bit. Just bring your hands up to your hips. You can still keep that strap or towel in your hands. Hinge back up to standing. All right, so now we're going to heel toe those feet in to about hip width apart. All right, so hip width is generally a little narrower than shoulder width. So we were previously slightly wider than the shoulders. Now we're going hip width. So it's going to be a little more challenging. So we're not going to go up and down this time. We're just going to take it up and hold. So go ahead and bring those arms up. Feel those back muscles engage. Start to engage the core. Straighten the legs out a little bit more. As we exhale, we're going to slide those hips over to the left. Reach those arms to the right. And inhale, center. And exhale, other side. And go ahead and keep that going. You hear me kind of being like, as I reach. These areas tighten up on a lot of us. I am no stranger to that either. And again, you don't have to be going my speed. You're keeping this on your breath, inhaling and exhaling. So take a little more time if you need to. All right. Give me one more on each side. Keep engaging that core. Keep sliding those hips for counterbalance. And we'll meet back in the center. Deep breath in. Exhale, swan dive it forward and fold. Again, soften your knees here. Let everything hang down. Keep breathing. The one thing I enjoy about movement when you have a head cold is it clears up your nasal passages. So my nasal passages are clear now. So I'm joining you in breathing through those nostrils. And go ahead and soften those knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Hinge yourself up. And now we're going to go ahead and bring those feet together. Now, I say this in my classes sometimes if you've been there, but our anatomies are different. Some of us are knock-kneed, some of us are bow-legged, some are straight down. So if you're knock-kneed like myself, your knees are kind of touching a little bit too much. You might separate your feet a little bit just to make it more comfortable on your knees. And of course, if your knees are wider, your feet will be totally together with still space between your knees. So just find your best position here for your feet and your knees, but you want to try to be able to get those legs together. So this is where it's going to become a little more challenging for that side reach. So start smaller and work your way up to bigger. And I'm going to add on one extra thing to help you lengthen through your side this time. So pull those shoulders back and down. Bring those arms up. And as you exhale, we're going to take it back over to the left. So bring those hips to the right. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center. Slide the hips over. Exhale to the right. And as you're doing this, try to keep that chest open. So I'm not rotating my shoulders down. It's kind of like I'm sliding between two pieces of glass with the body. Now, are you ready for the next piece? This time, as you take it over to the left, take that bottom arm, pull it down, And bring that top arm closer to the ear. Bring it back to center. Inhale. Exhale, other side. Same thing. Pull that arm down. Bring it closer to the ear. And bring it back up. So we're doing this to create a little more length down the side of the body and keep that tension going through the strap. If this causes any shoulder pain, you don't have to do that extra pull. But if it feels good and it's taking you to new places, you can keep it going. Last one. And back to center. Now just bring the arms down here. We're going to go to a forward fold, but we're going to get the chest and the shoulders open the other way. So we're going to take the strap behind us, grab onto it with the fingertips forward, all right? Now, you can keep this strap kind of on your body if that's good for you, or you can bring it up overhead. The wider your hands get on your strap or towel, the more high up you might be able to get the arms than if they're close together. So take a nice deep breath in, exhale, swan dive it. Keep those arms on the back or let them float up and really release those shoulders. And this time, just bring the arms down only, all the way to your sides. You can let that strap kind of go. You're in a forward fold. And this time we're going to roll up like a rag doll again. So soften those knees and roll it back up to standing. Chin is the last thing to come up. So hopefully we really loosen up your sides and your shoulders. We're going to use those again now through some extended poses in our side angle and our triangle pose. So I definitely recommend utilizing blocks here because these will make your life a little easier through this section. All right, so I'm going to have myself at a diagonal as I go through this with you, just so you can see the various directions I'm taking my body. I'm going to have my blocks up in between my feet to start. And we want to stand with our feet either together or you can do hip distance apart if you prefer. And we're just going to start by getting those hips a little open to begin with. So a nice strong mountain pose, draw those arms back and down, draw the abs in, soften those knees, draw the crown of the head tall. We're going to inhale it up. As you exhale, tip those hips, swan dive it, forward fold, all the way over. Inhale up to a half lift, move your hands up your legs if you need to, or you can place them on those blocks. Exhale to forward fold. This is where we want to bring those hands to the blocks, step the right foot back, turn the toes out just a little bit, about 40 degrees, bring it up to warrior one, reaching those arms up nice and tall. And now we're going to go up and down 3 times. So we're going to inhale, bring those fingertips back down to the floor or your blocks. Exhale, sweep them back up to warrior one. Do that 2 more times. If this becomes problematic for your back, you can keep that warrior one and not do the up and down. I'm completely fine with that. Last one. And hold it here. Really reaching up. Feel this hip kind of rotating open a little bit for you. Pulling those shoulders back and down. Couple more deep breaths here. And as we come down, we're going to go ahead and frame that front foot again. And we're going to bring both of the blocks inside of that foot. Turn that back foot open just a little bit more. And we're going to pinwheel the arms up to warrior two. So that right arm is going to come forward, up and around to warrior two. And we're going to pinwheel it back down to that lunge. And that back foot's just staying in the same position here. I'm not opening and closing the hip. One more. And now we're going to keep it up in warrior two. We're going to go up and down 3 times here. So we're going to inhale, lengthen the arms to the sky, straighten the legs. Exhale, press those arms down, press that knee down and open. And do that 2 more times. And hold it in warrior two. Like someone's playing tug of war on those arms. All right, and if you need to, you can even try to rotate that chest a little more and those arms front and back. From here, straighten the front leg. We're gonna go ahead and reach it forward, kicking those hips back. And then this arm is gonna come down to a yoga block, and I'm gonna turn mine tall, and the other arm comes to the sky. All right. So if you don't have a yoga block, you can have your hand on your leg or your thigh. Just don't have it on the kneecap, all right? So really reaching that arm tall, triangle pose, front leg and back leg are straight, rotating open. And now we're gonna work on some circumduction of that shoulder. So we're gonna inhale, reach it forward. Exhale, circle it down, around, and up. We're gonna do that a couple more times. Let that torso come with you. So we're getting a little rotation in the back too. Last one, we're gonna hold it at the top, and then we're gonna work on that length we practiced earlier by coming to extended triangle, trying to bring that arm closer to the ear. This one's a little harder. And circle it down. All right, so I'm still on the blocks here. Again, you can be on the floor. Now we're gonna go ahead and bend into that front leg again. So from here, we're coming into side angle pose. So we're gonna take that arm, open it back up. Now the difference is our front knee is bent this time. We're gonna do the same thing with the shoulder. Inhale it forward, circle it back down, around, and up. Keep that going. And again, if you don't have blocks, but you can't reach the floor, you can move that elbow up to your thigh. It's right there for you to help you really work on getting that chest open, getting that rotation going. And we're gonna hold it on this last one, and then we'll work on that extension. Trying to bring that bicep closer to the ear. Nice long lines. Try to keep that rotation open. Bring that hand down. I'm on the blocks again. If you're not on the blocks, both hands are down on the floor. Now we're gonna take that back leg, turn the toes forward, sink down and drop that back knee, untuck the toes into a runner's lunge. So you can take this front foot out a little wider if you want to. You can stay up on your palms, either on your blocks or down on the floor. Or for those who can come down to your forearms, you can do that. I practice my forearms with the blocks on their tallest setting and bringing my forearms to the blocks. So that's the way you can work on forearms if you so desire. You just want to make sure that both arms are reaching down the same length. So I'm not kind of like this turned open, all right? I'm really taking that outside arm, bringing it down and trying to square those shoulders off. Hold and breathe. Keep breathing, keep driving that back hip downward. Create that length through the hip flexor. So if you're down on your forearms, we're going to come back up to our palms. Again, blocks or floor, lift that back knee. Toes are curled under, so now we're in a more high lunge position. Pull those shoulders back away from those ears, and we're going to take that back foot, step it in outside those hands to a forward fold. Come up to a half lift. So our feet are wider now, right? Exhale, forward fold, soften the knees. Inhale, reverse that swan dive all the way back up. Exhale, mountain pose. Keep holding your mountain pose and breathing. I'm just going to switch directions here. So I'm facing the other way. So we're in our mountain pose. And we can start with the blocks on the outside of the feet again. So actually move those blocks to the outside of the feet if you're using the blocks. Sorry about that. Mountain pose to start. Let's inhale it up. Exhale, swan dive it forward and fold. Inhale up to half lift. Exhale, hands come back down. Step that left foot back. Turn the toes out to about 40 degrees. Bend into that front leg. And we're going to lift it up to warrior one. And now we're going to add that movement. So we're going to inhale, bring the arms down, exhale, sweep them up. Do that 2 more times. Really drive into that back leg. And on the next one, we're going to hold it there. Whew. After being sick for a week, I feel my calf in this pose on this one. And go ahead and bring those arms down. I'm going to take those blocks to the inside of that foot now. Turn the back toes out a little bit more. We're going to pinwheel up to Warrior Two. So we're going to take that right hand, sweep it up and around, Warrior Two, and exhale, sweep it back down. And do that a couple more times, pinwheeling those arms up. Exhale, peeling them back down. We'll do that one more time, up and down. And this time we're going to hold it in Warrior Two. Stack those shoulders, stack those hips, front and back. And now we're going to go up and down. Inhale, lengthen and reach. Exhale, press it down. Couple more times. Last one. Hold it here. We're going to straighten that front leg. Let that hip kick back. Reach it forward. Bring that front arm down to either yoga block the floor or your leg, just avoiding the knee. Back arm comes up. Really pushing away, so I'm not sinking into my shoulder here at any point. I'm really pushing it away, reaching tall. We're going to start those circles. Inhale, reach it forward. Exhale, down, around, and up. Do that a couple more times. Take that torso with you. Keep pushing that floor away with that bottom hand. And this time we're going to hold it when we get to the top. And then we're going to go for that length, reaching long. I'm shaking on this side. This side's a little harder for me because this hip likes to lock up on me. So the open rotation I slightly need here, a little more challenging for me. You might have one side more challenging than the other. And bring it down. Now we're going to bend into that front knee, still keeping that back foot in place. And we're going to bring it up and take those rotations to our side angle. So we're going to inhale, circle it up, exhale, down, around. Do that a couple more times. And I took that the wrong way. Let's take it back. Nope, I didn't. Or did I? See, this is my brain. My sick brain's coming in. Let's circle it forward, back around, and up, and now end with it forward. That felt more right. And again, if this becomes too intense, you can keep it up. Whatever feels good to you. And go ahead and bring it down. Turn the back toes in. Drop the back knee. Untuck the toes. Walk that front foot out a little bit more. We're going to come into our deeper runner's lunge. So here, again, you can stay up on your palms. You can come down to your forearms on the floor or forearms to blocks or hands to blocks. And just take those nice deep breaths here. Sorry about the arm circle. My brain got confused which direction I was going. Happens sometimes. No class is 100% perfect, right? The key is to forgive ourselves when we make a little error and to just move on and make the best of it. Now, if you're down on your forearms, come back up to your hands, either to the blocks or the floor. Curl the back toes under, lift that knee. So we're getting a little more length in the hip flexor. Step it in. Wide forward fold. And then half lift to forward fold. Soften the knees. Reverse that swan dive. Up. Exhale. Mountain pose. All right. Get a little water if you need to. I'm going to take a sip so I don't start coughing at you. All right, so we're going to end up finding our way back down to the floor, but you can line yourself back up with your blocks, and we're going to work on some step throughs. Now that means bringing your foot between your hands. If that's always been a struggle for you, I challenge you to try the blocks, but I want you to make sure you feel stable on them. So the tallest position's not the best for this one because they might rock and roll on you. So I recommend long side or flat for your blocks. All right, and you want them shoulder width apart, ready to go. Now, if you can easily do a swing through with your leg, you might not need the blocks, and that's absolutely fine. So we're gonna go ahead and bring our feet underneath our hips, roll those shoulders back, open heart, mountain pose. And after we do this little step through sequence, we're gonna go ahead and bring it down to the floor. But from here, we're just gonna work on swinging that leg through. So there's gonna be some three-legged down dog, some crescent lunges, and basically downward facing dog with the blocks, okay? So let's inhale it up. Exhale, swan, dive it forward and fold. Inhale up to a half lift. Exhale, bring your hands down to either the floor or the blocks. Step it back to plank. Keep those wrists over the shoulders. Exhale, downward facing dog. So now you'll know if your blocks feel stable or not, right? If they're starting to slide away or roll on you, you might not want to go for the blocks. Or you might want to find something else to step them on. Like mine are sliding a little bit, but I'm dealing with it. Now let's keep both feet on the ground the first time it's through. Take a deep breath in, and we're going to exhale, step that right foot up. And you want to try to get it up between those hands. So having the hands raised on the blocks makes your life a little easier. Then we're going to go ahead and exhale, take it back, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, step that right foot up. Try to get it right between those hands. Another deep breath in. Exhale, take it back. So that's level one. If you want more, you're going to go ahead and float the foot up. So let's inhale, float that right leg up. Exhale, bring it up between those hands. All right. And then on the next exhale, we're just going to step back to downward dog. We're not going to float it back up yet. So on your next exhale, just step it back to downward facing dog. This time, inhale that left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Hold here. And on your next exhale, downward dog. So we're going to do that one more time. This time, the option is to float back to three-legged down dog. And some cues and tips for when you're bringing that foot up. As you're starting to bring that foot up between the hands, roll through the back toes on the foot that's on the floor and crunch those abdominals up and in to create a little more space, all right? So let's inhale that right leg up. Exhale, bring it up between the hands. I kicked my block a little bit. Let's inhale back to three-legged down dog and exhale it to the floor. Now, left side, inhale that foot up. Exhale, bring it up between the hands. Inhale back to three-legged down dog. Exhale, down dog. Let's do one more time on each side, the version of your choice. So when I say bring the leg up in three-legged down dog, if you're not bringing it up, just hold down dog, all right? Here we go. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step it through and plant it. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, standard down dog. Other side. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step it through. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, float it down. All right, now this last time we're going to add a little crescent lunge in here as promised. So a little balance is going to come into play. So let's get that right leg. Inhale it up. Exhale, step it through. Lock everything in. Inhale up. High crescent lunge. Exhale, hands back down to the ground. Inhale, float that foot back, three-legged down dog. Exhale, float it down, other side. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale up, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, three-legged down dog. Exhale, standard down dog. And let those knees float down. Untuck, sit back, move the blocks out of the way unless you want it for your forehead. Find your child's pose. Keep breathing here. Get a little water again if you want. I'm going to take a moment to do so. A little more water than usual today because my throat's really dry. And we're going to hold some of the stretches we did earlier for a little longer breaths, all right? So during that last sequence, if it got a little cardio on you, that's normal. You don't have to do running to get cardio levels of heart rate. You can easily do quick flows and get there if you want low impact. All right, so on your next exhale, we're going to walk those hands over to the right. Reach to the right, sit that left hip in, and we're going to hold the reach this time. So you can stack that left hand on top of the right if that helps you get the length you want, or you can keep the hands separated like I have. Hold and breathe. Let's do 5 deep breaths in and out through those nostrils. And of course, if you want to hold it longer, you can. You can like hit pause or just catch up. If you like this and you want to stay longer, go ahead and inhale, walk those hands back to center. Exhale, we're going to take them over to the left, and we're going to hold and breathe on this side. Now again, if that head's floating, it can float. You can place a block under it. You can bring it down to the floor. And if you need to increase the distance of length on that side, you can stack the right hand on top of the left. Really drive that right hip downward. Take those 5 deep breaths in and out through the nostrils. When you're ready, come back to the center. 1 or 2 deep breaths here. I'm going to come back to a tabletop. Knees under hips. And now we're going to go to a little thread the needle, but with more of a puppy pose. So the hips are going to stay up in this case. So we're going to walk the hands forward just a little bit, and you can get deeper as we go. We're going to take that left hand. We're going to exhale, thread it under the right. And then if you can, drop down into that shoulder, get a little rotation, and even bring the side of the head to the ground. Hold and breathe. And when you're ready, come back out to the center. Inhale, plant that left hand. Exhale, thread the right under. Drop down to the shoulder and the ear if you can, and then rotate underneath and thread the needle. And again, about 5 or so deep breaths, but you can hold it longer if you want. And when you're ready, bring that back out. Just find a puppy pose in the middle, really lengthen. And then go ahead and walk those wrists back up under the shoulders and give me a cat hold. Just press slowly up into cat. A couple breaths here. And when you're ready, just kind of come back to a heel sit. If that's uncomfortable, you can sit on top of a block with crossed legs at this point, because we're just going to be doing some side reaches from here. So just to show you really quick, if you're not comfortable being on your knees, we still want to focus on the length of the side. So if you're not comfortable on your knees, you can instead sit on a block, be on your knees on the block, or you can do this from a cross-legged position, sitting on a block, because we're just going to work on that side reach. So you'll be working on the side reach here, or you can even put the leg out, and if you want to support the upper knee, place another block underneath it. All right, so this is kind of an option if kneeling is not your best friend. So we'll do this 2 times on each side, and I'll demo both ways so you can see. So we're going to start with the standard way and do this way twice in a row, or start with those legs crossed. So we're going to come up to kneeling, bring our hips up over our knees, kick that right leg out, pat up that knee if you need to. Arms are going to come out. We're going to exhale, reach it long. And you can have this arm here, but I always like to kind of bend it, circle it, and rest it on my hip a little bit to get that length on the side. And then hold and breathe. And now we're going to come down, reach towards that foot. If you're sitting cross-legged on the blocks, you just want to reach both hands over to the right, whether that leg is out long or not. And we're going to come back to center. That knee comes in, other one goes out. Come back up. And again, we're going to have those arms out. I'm trying to get untangled here. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, side reach. And get that length. And then we're going to turn down, reach towards that foot. And then come back to center, bring that leg in. So we're going to do that again if you want to stick with that version. If you want to do the block version, you can stay with me. If you've been doing the block version, I'm joining you this time. All right, so I always need to support my knee because I've got a hip impingement, so I'm going to put that one under that knee and bring this one out. And this is where I'm going to live. So we're going to inhale those arms up and exhale, come back to that side reach. So you're either kneeling or seated. You can also be seated on the floor. The block just kind of helps me. And then we're going to turn, reach. So if you're on the blocks, you're just reaching over. And then we're going to come back to center. If you're on the blocks, that leg comes out. Other leg's going to come in. And you can be cross-legged again on both sides if you prefer. Otherwise, you're up on kneeling. Arms come out. Inhale. Exhale, side reach. And come down, reach towards that foot. And bring it up. So if you're still on your knees, let's flip around now. Join me here in a seated cross-leg position. So I'm still going to stay up on the block. If you have tight hips and you find that your knees are kind of like up more towards your heart, sit on that block, scoot to the edge of the block so you can kind of almost melt your tailbone off the front and try to bring those knees down a little lower, all right? Just going to do gentle twists here. So sit up nice and tall. We're going to inhale those arms up. Exhale, turn to the right. Bring that left hand to the outside of the right knee. Right hand comes behind you. And sit up tall and twist. Hold and breathe. And let's go ahead and inhale back to center. Arms come up. Exhale, twist to the left. Bring that right hand to the outside of the left knee. Left arm comes behind. Sit tall. Breathe. And bring it back to the center. And exhale those arms out. All right, from here we're going to find our way onto our back. So if you have the block, you can just gently bring it out underneath. And go ahead and lay it all the way down. I'm just going to turn myself so that my feet aren't facing the camera. We're going to find a comfortable corpse pose. Now, if it's better for your back, you can keep your feet planted, your knees bent. Or if you want to open your hips, the feet can come together, the knees can fall out. Otherwise, a nice standard corpse pose. Turning out a little bit more because I don't like my feet on those weights. And just close your eyes. Turn those palms to the sky. And just start breathing here. Try to unfurrow the brow. Relax the jaw. Try to release that tongue from the roof of your mouth. If you find yourself fidgeting or flexing a muscle, you can go ahead and with your exhale, release it. Now, if you find that you're in a pose like this and you're flexing a muscle because you're resisting letting that joint relax more due to an impingement or arthritis, you can always use a yoga block or a rolled up towel and kind of put it under that joint to support it so you can kind of more easily relax. With each exhale, try to find more stillness. Maybe start letting those breaths come a little deeper, letting that belly rise and fall a little more, taking a little more time with each breath. Now, if you want, you can just kind of stop here, turn off the video, and stay here for as long as you want. Otherwise, you can go ahead and start bringing a little movements into the toes, into the fingers, bringing it into the wrists and into the ankles. And bringing it more into the arms and into the legs. If it feels good, you can reach the arms overhead for a longer full body stretch. or you can stay with smaller movements. When you're ready, just bend your knees, plant your feet, and bring your arms into your sides, and just roll over to one side, finding a fetal position for a few breaths. And from there, we're going to slowly work our way back up to a comfortable seated or kneeling position. You can utilize those blocks to sit on again if you want. And then find some nice length through the spine. You can have your eyes open or closed. Your hands can be on your knees, in your lap, or at your heart. And just find those breaths through the nostrils again. Still trying to relax the brow and jaw. When you're ready, just let those eyes flutter back open. Thank you for joining me today for sick yoga class as I'm leading it. I hope you still enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Namaste, and have a wonderful rest of your week.